Our daily schedule routine that helps us wholesale over 1,000 houses a year. What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here.
Rick Ginn here.
And in today's video, we're going to break down our entire schedule and routine for wholesaling real estate so you know exactly how we do it, so you can be a wholesaler that scales up their business and makes millions of dollars to see what we do to help you in your own wholesaling business. On top of that, too, I'm going to share my schedule I did when I was starting out in wholesaling real estate to get to 100K a year, then to 200K a year, then $500,000, all the way up to what we're doing now, so you can have wholesaling success.
I'm also going to bring you back in time and show you how I got started, how I set up my schedule to really get me through my first few years of wholesaling. And then I'll fast forward you to where I am today. That should be enough to get you started and get you excited on your wholesaling journey.
So let's start out with me starting out in wholesaling real estate and what schedule that was. Now I'm telling you, that schedule was no fun, all business, and just getting straight into it. And really what I mean by this was I only really prioritized two things in my life. And I'm not ashamed to say it, but it was true. It was my wealth and it was my health. Everything else can go kick the bucket. I didn't really care. I still hung out with my friends occasionally, but it was mostly all work out, and then work. Not a lot of Netflix, not a lot of social media, none of that fun stuff. I was just working because I was working so hard to become a millionaire, and that's all I could think about. And I was willing to do whatever it took to get to that point where now I'm doing that. I have a lot more time on my hands, which is great. So really the schedule is simple. I got up in the morning around 7 a.m. and from about 2 p.m., all I did was acquisitions and follow-ups. Pretty simple. Maybe I'll go on some acquisitions appointments. Maybe I'll do anything else, but really most of it was just following up and wholesaling houses. I'd pull some lists, go to the clerk of the court, a little bit of drawing for dollars here and there. But really I had so many leads at that point that I was really just doing a lot of follow-ups. And then also starting out a little more, I was doing a lot of marketing too, but really 2 to 7 p.m. was really my wholesaling time. So that was about 7 hours. And then from 2 to 7 p.m., that was my prime cold calling time. And really all I was doing was cold calling during that time. And it was great. It was fun. I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year doing it. And it was a lot of work. So think about it. It's about 12 hours of work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., marketing, talking to sellers, and getting deals done all day. But it was something I was willing to do. And it was something I really enjoyed doing. I'd usually take a half day on Sundays, just kind of relax with myself or with family. But really Saturday I was going crazy. Sunday I was still working. And I was willing to do whatever it took to become successful. And then usually after working like that, from 7 to 8 p.m., I'd go work out. And then from 8 to 11, I'd take a shower, eat some dinner, and then kind of plan out my day and maybe do a little bit of list pulling here and there, follow-ups, property analysis. Really that 7 to 11 p.m. was really cool for me because I just comp properties and do stuff where I didn't really need to be on the phones, and I enjoyed it. And really there's no fluff in between it. It was all work.
So my old schedule, remember when I started out, I actually had a full-time job. So I'm going to break down just the very beginning of that and then just after that. So I had a sales position where I oversaw a large staff. So I had to get everybody set up at 7 in the morning, get them out. So I started my day early. I had little ones running around. And so I always had a sweet spot after all the meetings, usually from like 11 to 1 to 2 p.m. That's the time I took to do all my follow-ups. But yes, I have my own cell phone. So if you're at work, just get your own cell phone. You don't want to use a company phone because it's going to cause problems for you. And I take that 2 to 3 hour window. I just eat lunch while I did it. And I would make all my phone calls. Now from 2 to 4, I usually had to go back to my job, get all the meetings, get everybody squared up, figure out who screwed up what that day. And then usually from 4 to 6, I didn't get off work till I was at 6, is once again, that was the time I was setting up all my appointments. And I would go see them on my way home from work. I figured I'm already dressed up in a suit and tie. Honestly, it didn't give me any credibility. People thought it was kind of weird, but I did what I had to do because I got home and I wanted to get home and spend time with my wife and my 2 young kids. And that's what I did for about 6 to 7 months before I left my job full time. Now, going into when I really did it full time, I took from 7 to 9 because the phones weren't ringing, kids were still awake, but that was a time to get the stuff I needed to get done. So I'd answer emails, and honestly, I just focused on marketing. And what I really did is spend all my time on lists. I spent a lot more time on lists than most people do because I didn't understand them, and I felt like I didn't have a lot of money to spend. I was going to get the best list possible. So 7 to 9, I really did list building and a marketing schedule. And basically after that, I just went crazy on the phones, contacting as many people as I could. By this time, I kind of set up a robust direct market program, direct mail, I apologize. And from direct mail, it was incoming calls. So I actually had a separate phone on my hip, and I always made sure I bent over backwards to answer it. So right about after lunchtime, when I got that all squared away, I wasn't nearly as organized as I am now. Then I would just go on appointments from basically 1 to 4 was when I went on all my appointments. And then by that time, I decided to do band bandit signs and networking as my two other marketing mediums. And so I would put out bandit signs towards the end of the day to find out where the high traffic areas are. If you guys haven't done this, you're really missing out on an experience because everybody honks and yells at you. And then basically I spent the evenings when I wanted to is networking with realtors because I was really good at it. And occasionally I would go to RIA meetings. And honestly, I stuck to that system for the most part after I got out of my full-time job. And I set up the marketing the first part of the day, then appointments. And then by the end of the day, I was trying to wrap it up to set up the next day. And I like to do stuff in blocks. I don't think every hour and every minute should be scheduled out because life doesn't work out that way. But I was a marketing AM, appointments, and then follow-ups and set up all my next day's marketing on that evening. And you got to set it up. Remember, guys, you still got to spend time with your family and everything. It's a lot more hectic than it actually sounds, but I'm just kind of showing you how it worked from a full-time job to actually doing the business full-time within the first year.
And so this kind of fast forward to what I'm currently doing now, doing thousands of deals every single year, trying to get to 1,000 deals, hopefully send me some stinking JV deals and we can do some more. My schedule's not as hectic. We have employees. They do a lot of the hard work, the underwriting, the comping, dispo acquisitions, all these things. So that you understand that, I still do a lot of work, but I do it by choice, not because I have to, because I want to. And I do it so I can scale up even more. So really still waking up 7 a.m. This is when we talk to people. I look at the employees. I see how the business is running. And I really do what I call quiet work, right? I don't talk to people on the phones from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I kind of just get the day started and get it going. And then basically from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., I work, basically doing whatever I can, wholesaling, rentals, Airbnbs, whatever thing we're doing. We run a lot of different companies. I just do a solid block of work there. That's around 4 hours, and that's pretty solid for me. And then from 1 to 3 p.m. is my fun break. That's when I get to do live streams. I get to record videos. So if I'm not doing a live stream, I just record a video, kind of like we're doing right now. I'll do the extended live streams. I'll talk to people on the Zooms and Flip with Rick Plus, answer DMs, record TikToks, whatever. I usually give myself 2 hours a day to do that. But really, it's kind of a mental break for me. And that's why I love it. And then from 3 to 5 p.m., I go back to do a little more work. And then from 5 to 7, I'll go work out, shower, eat some dinner. And then from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., what I used to do is just work, but I would actually relax, have fun, plan out my day, do whatever I want, read a book, just actually do something that is not like work. And I only give myself 4 hours for it. And trust me, I try to give myself 5 or 6 hours. I physically can't not do work or think about work or try to make money for more than 4 hours at a time. So it's kind of pushing myself to the limits there, but it's great. I'll do video games, whatever I want to do. I really enjoy it, and a lot of fishing.
So fast forward to my schedule is, I'd like to tell you I have this hard set time I wake up. It doesn't work that way. I just like to get enough sleep. So I usually get up between 7 and 7:30, pretty much when the sun's already up. And then I like to take that first hour and a half, and I just kind of call it me time. So I'm going to dictate. I don't want to watch the news. So the first thing I'll do is drink a very large glass of water, and then I'll just meditate. My meditation is really simple. I don't make it complicated. It's just about positive thoughts and set the tone for the day. And then after that, I look at financial reports. So I try to look at them online because it's much more condensed, and I make decisions on where I want to move monies around. And then basically from there, I just get a head start on all my emails for the day. And it's usually, I like to send them out before 9 because most people come into work, between 8:30 and 9:30, and just get them out and get them blasted. And that incorporates basically till about 9:30. So basically from like 9 to noon, I like to do blocks. That's when I do a bulk of my work. It's when I review all the real estate deals. I look at ongoing portfolio decisions, our Airbnbs. I meet with employees and talk to them. Our schedules sometimes coincide, sometimes they don't, but we talk to each other so much a day. I try not to overwhelm people with meetings because the new kryptonite is way too many meetings. But what you do is let people get the information back for you, make a decision from there. And honestly, this part of the day goes by the fastest for me because I'm always waiting for someone to get back to me or doing something like that. So this is where I'm making all my phone calls and trying to set the tone for the day, because honestly, if you don't get stuff done by noon, you're probably waiting another day till a decision comes along. So by that time, I'm usually exhausted with phone calls and my head's kind of spinning from all the meetings, and I got to figure out like what decision I'm gonna make. And I've learned in my older age that I make better decisions when I'm like cool and calm and I have an outlet. So instead of me eating lunch, I just go and work out. So I just have a routine. I figure it out, and the gym is completely empty from like 12 to 1. So it's my favorite time to go. I go there. I have a regiment already set up, and I go and I just kind of lose myself. And I typically listen to podcasts and stuff like that, depending on what I want to work on. And I just lose myself for 45 minutes. And I go pretty hard in the paint on it, depending on what hurts in that time of my life. And then I can come back with a very clear mind with that. that. And usually my hunger pains have subsided. So basically 1 to like 2:30, I'm typically, we're in a recording atmosphere. So I'm in the studio, either doing a live stream with you guys, or I'm recording some sort of special piece. And I kind of get in the zone when I do this. And I actually enjoy doing it with myself and obviously Zach. And once I get that mode, I'm a little bit flexible in the time because sometimes it takes more time to record stuff than we plan on it. So I leave some flexibility from like 1 to 3. And then basically from 3 to 4, I got to get all the follow-up phone calls and emails to try to wrap things up for the business day and get decisions by tomorrow morning. And at this point, I'm already thinking like, what do I want to accomplish the rest of the week, the month, and to get it done by this week? And I start thinking in that time frame. And basically from 4 to 6, things are a little bit slower for me because everything's kind of been done. And that's the time I just sit down and like think about future content, future business ideas, and I have no restrictions. I just do a 2-hour block. And sometimes like an hour, I got to think about one thing. It's my ADHD and that's how I operate. And then basically from 7 p.m. on, me and him have ridiculous phone conversations and meetings just talking about plans we want to do. Most of the time he's telling me it's not going to work. You need to try this. And what I'm doing is then from that is I have ideas. And then if you're like me, you like to ponder on it. I make a list of what I think is going to work, what Zach likes with it. And then I sleep on it. I make a decision and then I pre-plan what I want to do for the next day. The biggest part I can tell you is you always have to have a plan for the next day, because if you don't, the day will have a plan for you and it's never going to be about what you want.
Yeah, you always have to plan what you want to do. And not having a plan is a plan to fail. That's why you always have to plan. That's why before I go to bed, I plan everything out. It's all written out. Guys, if you wake up and your feet hit the ground and you don't know what you have to do for wholesaling, you're already behind the 8 ball. You're not going to do well. That's why you have to make a plan. Now, the question is like, what should your plan be, right? You probably don't have the same schedule as us, or you can't. You got a full-time job, part-time job, kids, all these things, right? The only schedule I could tell you if you want to start planning it would be what we call a 3-1-1 approach, which basically means for every 5 hours of work, 3 of those hours should be dedicated towards marketing, 1 hour of that should be dedicated towards acquisitions, and then the last hour should be dedicated towards dispositions. So if you're working 40 hours in the week for wholesaling, it should be like 24 hours marketing, 8 hours acquisitions, 8 hours dispositions. But as long as you dedicate your time to that 3-1-1 approach, you should be well if you know you're marketing enough, you're talking to sellers enough, and you're pulling the right amount of cash buyers. Hopefully this schedule helped you learn a little more about our wholesaling business, how we schedule out my day. Now you can do the same thing in your business. Guys, if you got any value from this video, do me a favor. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, go to freewholesaling.com or free wholesaling course, and we'll see you soon. This is Zach signing out.
Rick signing out.
Have a blessed one.
See you guys.